On the topic of liars, I would say that Biden and Trump are equally a bunch of liars. Would you say that's fair?
No, I don't think that's fair. I don't think that Biden is a liar.
You don't think Biden's a liar?
I think Biden's a politician.
Do you think Biden lies? Do you think Biden, like, for example, if I were to ask you, do you think that Joe Biden is the type of person to, when he announced his campaign in 2019 or 2020 or whatever it was, that the entire thing was built on a lie? Would you say that's the type of person that Joe Biden is?
Well, what do you mean the entire thing's built on a lie?
What do you mean? He doesn't know where could Paul be going with this crazy kook? Let's watch for a moment here.
What got me involved to run the first place after my son had died, I decided in Iraq, because of Iraq, I said I wasn't going to run again until I saw what happened in Charlottesville, Virginia. People coming out of the woods carrying swastikas on torches, and singing the same anti-Semitic bile they sang when back in Germany. And the young woman got killed. I spoke to the mother, and they asked him. They said, "What do you think of those people? The people the ones who got killed, the one who tried to stop it, and the ones," he said, "I think they're fine people on both sides." What American president would ever say Nazis coming out of fields carrying torches, singing the same anti-Semitic bile, carrying swastikas were fine people?
They showed up in Charlottesville to protest. They did themselves down as you, and you had some very bad people in that group. You also had people that were very fine people on both sides. You had people in that. Oh my
God, there it is. He said Nazis were very fine people, because what he's referring to, of course, is the Charlottesville protest. They were taking down statues to, I think it was Robert E. Lee, and there were people who said, "This is part of our history. We don't want to take it down."
No, they organized. No, Paul. See, now you're being the revisionist, right? This was the Unite the Right rally that was held at Charlottesville. This was a huge gathering, a huge cause celebrate
that killed the
right wingers.
Yes,
it was.
And what else?
When we've seen the posters. No, that was what was going on. That was the event.
You're a propagandist.
This was the thing that Richard.
Let's continue. Let's watch it unmolested. Here we go.
Excuse me. I saw the same pictures as you did. You had people in that group that were there to protest the taking down of, to them, a very, very important statue and the renaming of a park from Robert E. Lee to another name. No, George Washington was a slave owner. Was George Washington a slave owner? So will George Washington now lose his status? Are we going to take down? Excuse me. Are we going to take down statues to George Washington? How about Thomas Jefferson? What do you think of Thomas Jefferson? You like him? Okay, good. Are we going to take down the statue? Because he was a major slave owner. Now we're going to take down his statue. So you know what? It's fine. You're changing history. You're changing culture. And you had people, and I'm not talking about the neo-Nazis and the white nationalists, because they should be condemned totally. But you had many people in that group other than neo-Nazis and white nationalists, okay? And the press.
But he said that the Nazis were very fine people. Wait a minute. JJ.
Well, then who is he?
Surely.
Okay, I have two thoughts. Okay,
Paul would not have lied to the American people.
Paul, shut up for a second, okay? So,
JJ, go ahead.
I have two thoughts on this. Okay.
Run your mouth.
I have two thoughts on this. Two thoughts on this. One, notice how people talk a lot about Biden's cognitive decline, as we have been doing, but man, Trump looks just so much more vigorous and with it.
He does. I was actually going to say something similar. He does. That's funny.
He even looks better. Like he looks healthy and robust.
He's got more gesticulation.
Compared to how he looks now.
Take the statue out?
And his face is less lined. He just looks like he's in better shape, which is saying something, because I remember at the time everybody said he looked like a decaying road apple. But anyway, the second thing is that Trump is just kind of like making up a whole different sort of situation in which to backtrack from what he just said. Because there was not fine people on both sides, because this was an explicit white nationalist gathering. So if he's saying like there was very fine people involved, who were the very fine people? Like, there weren't any. It was explicit. It was the Unite the Right rally. It was a gathering point for extreme right wingers. You had people like Richard Spencer who were saying like, come on down to Charlottesville. Let's all show our strength and talk about how the Jews will not replace us and all that. Like, that was the purpose of the event. There was no fine people. There was no like just suburban housewives who just sort of like wandered in. And even if there were, the purpose, like, I just disagree with even his framing in the best case scenario. You're showing support for Robert E. Lee, who was a traitor to the United States, who was fighting for a slaveholding.
Mott and
What'd say?
Mott and Bailey.
What that means.
You don't know what Mott and Bailey mean? How long have you been on online political spaces? It's a debate tactic. It's where you say something extreme and then you retreat to a more reasonable position. So
that's what Trump was doing. Trump was saying like, well, what about George Washington? What about Thomas Jefferson?
Fair enough. So here's the thing. Okay, so here's the thing. First off, I think you're completely fucking wrong. I bet that's complete bullshit. I bet there were absolutely rallies, or there was. I bet there were protests against the taking down of Robert E. Lee that had nothing to do with the neo-Nazis and the people marching with tiki torches. I guarantee you, there were separate organizations holding protests, and there were people out there.
No,
because
all right.
Because, like you just said, well, but hold on, why would someone be supporting a statue of Robert E. Lee? Okay, fine, that's a different question, and I probably agree with you. To Trump, actually, he made I would say, an interesting point of like, well, George Washington was a slave owner, so why don't we take out everyone at this point? Martin Luther King didn't have the most progressive opinion on gay people, so Southern Baptist minister from Alabama,
to the United States. They were not.
Okay, they're worse. I'm sorry, worse than a traitor is a homophobe. Let's just be clear about that. Okay. So the point about, well, should we even have these statues up to begin with? Okay, that's an argument. You and I, if we weren't, arguing about the issue next to it, would probably align on it. But the point was, I do think you can be a reasonable person who's like, hey, Robert E. Lee, yeah, he sucks, but he's part of my heritage, and I prefer he's here. It's not like the most insane thing. I believe, just as a comparison.
But two points. It's like, I think that is a kind of indefensible position, frankly. And B, I think that there were not people. I don't think that there were people of that sort of moderate persuasion at the Unite the Right rally. I just do not think it was some sort of diverse marketplace of ideas.
I bet you're wrong. And if you are right, then why did Trump say that and then condemn the Nazis? He said he totally condemns them
because I think he was trying to backtrack because he was embarrassed by the obvious mistake that he just realized that he had made. The comment that came naturally to him was to sort of defend the protesters because in his lizard brain,
So when he said there's very fine people in both sides, who specifically did you think he had in mind?
I think he was sort of thinking that, that some of these people were getting a hard time from these far left wackos, and that it was important for him to sort of suggest that there was fine people on, the right wing side as well. That it wasn't just like, these leftists are all sort of self-righteous, that they're so pure. And he kind of wants to say, well, there were some good people on the other side too. Here, Paul, can I show you?
Listen, just because I have the Richard Spencer haircut doesn't mean. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Sure. Now I want to show you this. How do I share a thing?
Present at the bottom, and then I will pull it up.
Okay. How about if I just send you this image? Can you put it on the screen?
Yes.
If I just fix it to you?
Okay, boomer.
I'm too much of a boomer to figure out this. Okay. So look at this. Look at this. This is an advertisement for the rally.
Yeah, I know. Okay, I'll share it. I have to myself. Yes, the rally. I'm saying the Unite the Right rally, where they carried tiki torches, where a bunch of basement-dwelling, pasty white, autistic Zoomer Nazis got together and killed a woman, was totally fucking bullshit, and that's what Trump's condemning. There is absolutely a different group of people who could be considered on the right.
But look, this is what the advertisement was. This is the ad. Okay, show the ad, and this is what is bringing people to that event on that day. So do you think that somebody who's looking at that is going to be thinking like, oh yes, this looks like a reasonable bunch of well-meaning folks, and I'm happy to be part of that, right?
I'm pulling it up. Hold on. Okay. JJ, this is the level of propaganda that well, look, listen, if you want to view things like this, that's fine. Biden's going to lose, and you'll be to blame because you couldn't face reality. Which I just don't.
I don't. I think this is not an issue that I think mobilizes people. I think that when people like you are sort of trying to play defense for Trump in this position, you're already losing, because I think so much of America has moved on from the Unite the Right rally and is not interested in sort of relitigating it.
That's fine. I think that's how a lot of people feel about like January 6th as well. And okay, so here, look, this is straight racist.
I'll send you another one too.
Racist. Yes. And you know who else said it was racist? Donald J. Trump. Now, here's the thing.
Post it. I just sent you another one too. Post the other one too. I want you to post the other one too.
Then copy it over to Discord.
Yes. Well, who's the boomer now?
If someone
this one's even better because it's even more explicit.
Okay. Where is it? I'm gonna. Never mind. I was gonna make a joke, but then I thought better not get canceled for racism. Here.
Okay, like look at this one. So here we got good old Robert E. Lee right in the center of the action.
Literal racist. Literal race. What point do you think you're making right now? This is
the point I'm making here is that it's like your premise is no, Paul. Okay,
go ahead.
No, I was going to say your premise is that there was some sort of faction of well-meaning Americans who saw these advertisements being circulated on social media, who see, Robert E. Lee being surrounded by, the worst dreck of American sort of culture. And they were like, yes, this seems like a decent thing. I think I will go there to show my nuanced support for the Confederacy, that's like Trump is arguing based on the premise that such people existed.
You entertain me sometimes with the gymnastics and lies and propaganda that you wield around you like magic. Okay. No, I am not claiming that there were well-meaning people who saw those posters and thought, oh, that's great. Because I would say definitionally not possible, as we just saw. I'm saying there are people, and for a fact that there are people who have the opinion that, who say, I don't think that the statue of Robert E. Lee should be taken down because it's part of our culture. And just because he was a traitor and all these different things doesn't mean it should be taken down. I think those people are wrong. I think Robert E. Lee probably should be taken down. And I don't defend them. But I absolutely do not say that someone who holds that opinion is the same as the person who was doing the tiki torches stuff. You can be a reasonable person.
Were those people there? People there?
Yes. Okay, this is just a straight fact check, and I guarantee you it's correct. And I don't want to sit here for 5 minutes and pull it up. Well, what I'll do is I'll cleverly edit this clip to make me look really good and you look really bad, and then pull in the news after the fact that says clearly there were people who were arguing about Robert E. Lee, and I'm sure there was some community town hall.
Why did they go? Like, why? How did they wind up? Like,
this is my point.
That's the point I'm trying to make.
Yeah, the point I'm trying to make is you are now conflating two things, and we can move on from this because I think I've made my point.
Okay.
You can be someone who thinks that Confederate statues should not be taken down and still be a overall decent person. I believe that. Now, you might not because you're in your liberal bubble and you believe Dave Chappelle is right wing, among other storied comments that have been made on this channel by you. Okay. But I think it's perfectly reasonable for people to say, I don't want that taken down, even if they were bad, which is why Trump was saying, should George Washington be taken down and all that? So those people exist for sure. And I suspect with 99.99% confidence that a lot of them were there protesting who were like, yeah, but I'm not a fucking actual Nazi. And here's the thing, you not distinguishing between those two, that's fine. They're all right wingers. They're all evil people. Fine. I think it's important to distinguish between those two because honestly, that's how you exploit their fundamental differences. If you want to know how to exploit the right wing, you find the internal arguments and you hammer them home. Okay. And I think there's plenty of that ongoing. But if you just want to lump them in all together and say, well, if you even support Robert E. Lee, you're probably a Nazi.
No. I just think that you're kind of missing the way, the reason why people had such strong reactions to Trump's comment, right? The reason why people had such reactions to Trump's comment is because
they was saying that Nazis were fine people when he totally condemned them. And you just saw it and everyone just saw it.
No. The point is like, he is positing the existence of people that did not exist at that event. And that's my point. And I feel like that's something that you're not.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll make a bet and we'll donate to charity and we'll do it offline and pretend that we actually did do the bet. But I guarantee you that's fucking bullshit. I don't think Trump pulled that out. Like you said at the beginning, Trump is not just a literally every word out of his mouth is a liar. He's an idiot.
Yeah.
And I do not believe he would have said any of that had there not been people who actually were like, of course we don't support any of the fucking Nazis, but we do think that Robert E. Lee statue should not be taken down. Anyway, the point is Trump and Biden are fucking liars, okay? And democracy is a sham. Next thing I wanted to show.